This wasn't random. You don't check the news because you want to. You check it because your brain thinks something bad might happen. You open your phone without thinking. You scroll for a few seconds and then you see it. A headline that makes your body tighten slightly. Something negative, uncertain. Something that feels important. You didn't plan to look for it. But once it appears, you can't fully ignore it. And the strange part is this. You don't feel better after seeing it, but you keep returning. Most people think of addiction as something obvious, something intense, visible. But this doesn't feel like that. This feels normal. You check the news on social media. You tell yourself it's useful. And sometimes it is. But notice what happens underneath that explanation. You don't just check once. You check again and again. Not because something new happened every time. Because something in your brain is waiting for something. It doesn't feel like you're looking for bad news. It feels like you're looking for clarity, for resolution, for the moment when things finally make sense again. But bad news rarely gives you that. It creates open loops. Situations that are unresolved, unstable, still developing. And your brain is not comfortable with that. It wants closure. So it keeps returning to the same source, hoping the next update will settle the tension. Your brain is not neutral when it comes to information. It is biased toward threat because of its survival design. Negative information gets prioritized because historically, ignoring danger had consequences. So your brain learned to treat bad news as important, more important than neutral information, and more important than positive information. Which means one thing: bad news grabs your attention faster and holds it longer. Have you ever heard of reward loops? Every time you check and find something new, your brain receives a small reward. Not a pleasant one, but a meaningful one. You feel updated, prepared, and slightly more in control. But that feeling doesn't last. It's just enough to make the behavior repeat. So the loop forms. You feel tension, you check, you get temporary relief, tension returns, and then you check again. If it was actually helping, you would feel better after checking. But you don't. The reason is simple. The behavior is socially accepted and even encouraged. Staying informed is seen as responsible, and awareness is seen as intelligence. So the line between information and compulsion becomes invisible. You don't question the behavior because it sounds justified. Over time, the side effects become visible. You may feel more tense without a clear reason, more mentally crowded, but not because your life changed, but because your input changed. Your brain has been repeatedly exposed to uncertainty, conflict, and threat signals, so it adjusts accordingly. The illusion of control appears when something uncertain is happening in the world, and the brain tries to reduce that uncertainty through information. So that's why you check for updates, trying to stay ahead of the situation. But most of the time, you are not gaining control. You are reinforcing the loop. The more you check, the more your brain learns. This matters. Keep watching. The cost of this addiction is not obvious, but you'll notice how your focus becomes fragmented and your ability to stay present decreases because your mind becomes more dependent on external input. You don't notice it happening because it happens gradually. At some point, you might notice how you reach for your phone without a clear reason. Open an app automatically and start scrolling before you even decide to. And in that moment, something becomes visible. This isn't just information, it's a loop. So the question is not, why do I check the news so much? The better question is, what feeling am I trying to resolve when I check it? Once you see that, the pattern changes. You realize you're not just consuming information. You're responding to something your brain is trying to solve. It doesn't feel like addiction, because it doesn't look like one. But the next time you reach for your phone, without thinking, ask yourself one thing. Was that my decision, or just the loop again?
I'm Oliver, and now you know why this happens. Or at least a part of it.